Hi everyone, welcome to your tutorial for Locust Pose. If we haven't met before, my name's Katrina. And so for this one, you don't need that many blocks, or that many props rather. But for this one, I do recommend if you have limited shoulder mobility to use a strap, rope tie, belt, anything like that. And it'll really help the movement in your shoulders. And so moving up to Locust, you might often find it in flow power classes, even hatha classes. A lot of the back bends on our tummies involve Locust Pose. And so we'll talk about the shoulders, the back, the abdominals, everything to incorporate a really sweet, opening, and juicy Locust Pose. We'll get started on our tummies. All right. And so we'll go through a few preparatory poses for Locust. And we'll have our strap handy. And so make sure your feet, the tops of your feet, are on your mat, and so where your shoelaces would be, toenails down. Lengthen your legs one at a time. And sometimes we tend to crunch into our pelvis. And feel both of your hip bones press into your mat. Lengthen your sit bones towards the back of your feet. And then make sure your rib cage is long, and so you're not really crunching your rib cage or anything like that. More lengthened away from your hips. And then place your hands right by your front ribs for baby cobra. And this is a nice little soft opening before Locust. For baby cobra, widen your fingertips from thumbs towards your pinkies, and so like you're getting as much surface area on your mat as you can. And right by your front ribs, hug your elbows towards your rib cage, and then lift the heads of your shoulder blades. And so like you're thinking shoulder blades towards your spine, hug that in towards center. And then often we kind of lift our shoulders up towards our ears. Can you instead drag your shoulder blades away from your ears, lengthen your neck, and then gaze down, chin or forehead. And so all of this is contracting towards your center. And press down into your hands, baby cobra, lift your chest, and then float your sternum forward and up. Right, and for this one, float forward and down to exit. And so that's baby cobra. If that feels good, you might try it again. Think sternum floats forward and up, and press your palms down. And then without moving your hands, you're scrubbing your hands towards your feet, pulling your chest in between your shoulders. Second set, baby cobra. And then think more length, forward and down. And then if that feels good, you might move up to cobra, which is the same thing essentially with your legs still hugging in towards your bones, except your arms are now extended a little longer. And so again, toes down, legs are engaged, your kneecaps might lift off your mat, hip bones down, lengthen your low back, and so roll your sit bones towards your heels, palms press, elbows together, and shoulder blades back towards your hips. And stay in center. As you inhale, press your palms down, scrub it towards your feet, pull your chest through, and then you might be able to lift your arms. And forward and down. Another option, if that doesn't feel okay with your shoulders, with your back for any reason, you might place your hands slightly forward towards your shoulders. Again, keeping your fingertips spread, and then lifting and pressing your palms down, using your arms, and floating your chest. And so this is really great for our backs, really stretching the abdominals, opening our chest, and then forward and down. And so often, and especially today, we spend 8 hours a day on our chair, on our computer, on our phones. And so cobra, all these back strengthening, locust pose, it's really great to open our collarbones and breathe new space into our front body. So baby cobra, just for view, little tiny lift of your chest. For cobra, you extend your arms a little longer. Your front ribs might float, belly button might float, and then forward and down. And then for locust variations, these ones are a lot more weight bearing, and so you have something to kind of press your chest up. You might even try this variation when you lift your hands a little higher. And so baby cobra, scrub hands towards your feet, And then you might float your hands high and keep squeezing your shoulder blades together. And you'll feel some contraction along your spinal erectors, your lats. And that is exactly what you're looking for. Lifting back body, strengthening, and then float all the way down. Right, and then for locust pose, you will see a couple different variations with teachers. You might see arms wide, hands by your hips, hands interlaced at your low back, and this is when your strap comes in handy. You might even see hands forward. All of these are really great variations, but we'll try to move into a couple that are most seen in your flow power classes, hatha classes as well. And so if you know you don't have really open shoulder mobility, you might take a strap, hold it from your hands, and then chin, forehead down. And again, tops of your feet on your mat, and really engage your quads, and so your knees come off. Press your hips down, uncrunch any tightening in your low back by lowering your sit bones. And then squeeze your shoulder blades together as much as you can, and press your triceps together, lengthen your neck, lengthen your sternum, and float. And this is half locust. And really using your entire strength of your back body and then opening your front body. Option to lift your feet high. You might lift your right toes, lift your left toes, and then knuckles back towards your heels. And then a lot of the time we kind of lift and really lift from the outers because our glutes are so strong. Think of your big toes lifting as much as your pinky toes. And so heels come through center, inner thighs float, outer hips slightly down, and then exhale to rest. And after each set, you might rest and place your hands just underneath your forehead and shake your hips. Let that go. And that's only one option of many. If that doesn't work for your shoulders, no problem. The really sweet thing about yoga is that there is a variation for all bodies. And so we'll move into a different variation here. Same thing, feet down. You can have your feet hip distance. You can have your feet wide, maybe toes together. And I really recommend trying a different variation and just seeing how it feels. Right, for this one, we'll have our arms wide. And so like a wide V, you choose how far you'd like your feet to be. Chin down, forehead down. And then think of your triceps, which are just this muscle in the back of your arm. Think of that lifting and hugging in together. And so as you inhale, float sternum forward and then up. Hug your triceps together. Quads, the front of your thighs are engaged, and then maybe you float your feet up. Locust pose. And so instead of thinking, how high can my shoulders get, think how long can my body get? A slight release of the glutes. And this strengthening for the back, the engagement of your spinal erectors, your lats are really great for all that time we spend hunched over. And then from here, if you'd like to transition, you might move from wide V arms, interlace your fingers, and then reach your knuckles down. And keep floating feet and hands back. And you might stay for a couple breaths, a slight release of your glutes, and then exhale all the way down. You might stack your hands, chin, forehead down. You might shake out your hips. And something I really like after a locust pose, cobra pose, bending my legs, and letting my feet windshield wipe side to side. Nice release for low back. And so again, there's many variations to try out, and you'll see different teachers cue different variations as well. And blocks are really nice to have, strap are really nice to have, but the thing that I like about locust pose is that it opens the front body, opens the abdominals, and strengthens our back body because everything works together. And so think more length when you're working cobra, locust, and more axial extension. All right, I hope you guys enjoyed this nice tutorial for Locust Pose. And next time you're in class, think longer, think more space.